Thank you for joining me on my journey to learn more about Python. And I'm using this system called Flet to practice with different types of Python techniques. So currently the character using Flet is moving to the right and the left using a 3-cell animation, and she also goes down right now. These are Flet buttons. Primary concept that I was interested in is something called observable to manage the state of the Flet application. As I learn these concepts, I'm making a tutorial. I'm calling this the Pepper tutorial from the Pepper and Carrot online comic that is available for free online. The concepts that we'll be studying are UI development patterns, reactive programming with Python for the front end, Flet declarative UI approach, and MVC or model view control. I found some Pepper and Carrot graphics on Open Game Art that was inspired by the Pepper and Carrot comic from David Revoy. I'm going to start the tutorial from a blank screen in the next video, but wanted to give you a preview of this basic concept. The observable will help with reactive state management, and when something within your program changes, like a value for the position of the character, the screen will redraw. In this example, we have the position of Pepper, who is the sprite. Her x coordinate is going to be 5 and the y coordinate will be 3. When we change the game state, the screen will redraw. The observable is based on a concept of notification and listening. Instead of just telling the sprite, we change the position directly. There is an intermediary state. When we change the state, so the x coordinate in the state, there's another, the sprite is listening, and the sprite will update based on the change of the state. So it's based on notification and listening. Although this is more complex than just changing the position of the sprite itself. As your application gets more complex, it's much easier to manage the complex application. So as your game gets more complex, you have more. Let's say that the girl is Pepper, and then the cat, I think, is Carrot. So if you have 2 characters on your game, you can still do it. It just becomes more and more difficult. The concept is called reactive programming or data binding. Again, I'll start from a blank screen in the next video, but just to give you a preview, I'm using this FT observable. This is from Flet, which is the Python UI package that is built on top of Flutter. You don't need to use Dart or Flutter for this tutorial. So with this decorator, the @ sign, it's a decorator. This becomes reactive. And if I change the value of the sprite X or the height of where the character is, the 300, to sprite Y, the UI will re-render. There's no page.update in this architecture. The sprite is just an image, so this is the character that we are using. She is called Pepper. These are separate files. So when she's running down, we're using this set of 3 frames. These are separate files here. In Flet, I don't believe you can take a single sprite sheet and slice it up within the program. I actually extracted these myself manually with GIMP. So this tutorial series, although you will build a portion of a game, it's not the best way to build a game with Python or with Flutter. You'd be better off using Pygame or something like Flame in Flutter. But if you want to practice observables or state management, this is a kind of a good fun technique. After building it with Python, Flet, and the observables, you could rebuild the example in RiverPod, which is the state management system that is very common in Flutter. And it'd be a good way to practice if you're using Flutter, the RiverPod block provider for state management. We are using in this tutorial the built-in Flet observable, which is in Flet 1.0 beta. The Flet approach is pretty good to learn the basics of reactive programming since it is simpler, requires less boilerplate, although Flet is more limited than something like Flutter with Flame and RiverPod or the Flutter block. The trade-off is simplicity in this tutorial series versus more control. I'm going to end this video with a quick preview of working with Flet to kind of give you a taste to see if you want to pursue this tutorial. So these are Python functions. I'm going to copy the one for down and I'll drop it in here. So I'll set it to be on up click. I'll set the direction, which currently is a string, to up, and we're not using it, but we will use it soon. So this one is down. For the frames, these are the images. It's a dictionary of, it's a key value right now. I'm just storing it as a list of strings up. So we'll change all of them to up. 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 So we're just trying to get the frame set up to load it. And we'll create a button. The button won't be fully hooked up yet. So the controls in Flet is a list. And the first one is a string, which is the label of it. So we have the on up click. Okay, the button exists, but there'll be no action right now. We have to set up the animation and the movement. So let's go into the movement. I need the frames and the movement as well for the animation. So I'm in control because I'm using MVC, model view control. I'm in the control folder. I'm just going to set up the frames for the animation. So these are individual files that I got from Open Game Art from a sprite sheet. And we'll set up the up. So this is a standard Python match case multi-conditional. Up. Current frame will be up. And So we're adjusting the y coordinate. Down, up. Up, right, left. Pretty nice. And there's bounds. World bounds are working. I should probably stop her from walking. And even in that short kind of preview here, I just realized that we're using a dictionary unpacking here. These two asterisks, which may be a little confusing, or you're probably wondering what it is. So I'll just cover it quickly. So these two things, I'm trying to get practice with this myself, is dictionary unpacking or dictionary spreading. It's one of these things I've used a lot in the past, but haven't recently because I've been focused more on other types of Python programming. So this creates a new dictionary. Here it unpacks it, and so we have this new result as a combination of the two dictionaries. So it's actually pretty simple, although it does look weird. If you do update a value from the original dictionary like this, so this is the original updated, the B, it will create a new dictionary. It doesn't modify the original dictionary. So when we're using it, so this is a dictionary, right? So it just unpacks the state dictionary. We're using the state to having a dictionary, and it updates the down with the new frame index. So it's just 0, 1, or 2. And it creates this new dictionary and assigns it back to the state.current frame. So hopefully you'll join me and Pepper on our journey here through the world of Pepper and Carrot. And we'll learn a lot about Python and making UIs in 100% Python. Okay, have fun.